5 o'clock. We're going to open the rules and legislation. Okay, and we're ready for prayer, so let us pray. Our Father, who art the hope of all the earth, remember us in love and guide us by thine wisdom. We ask blessings upon our servants, our county mayor, commissioners, our city mayor and councilmen. Bless us with wisdom, goodness, and truth. Defend our liberties, preserve our unity, protect our city and county, to the honor of thy holy name. Amen.
Okay, so get my mic fixed, I wasn't paying attention. I had one correction, where it said Commissioners Anita Epperson and John Boutwell, and this is talking about the old business for the committee, that's doing the, property tax. So that should be an Eric Maddox instead of John Boutwell. I showed April where it is, so that's,
But I would have been for it.
yeah. Yeah, but you didn't volunteer. But anyway, yeah, if we can just make that, we can recommend just to make that change and then approve them. Aye.
He's on a different standing committee. Okay, well, we passed it. Okay, the next one is minutes approval of January 20th, 2026 Rules and Legislative Committee meeting minutes. Okay, so we're not going, we've already accepted as regular. Okay, the next one is public comment. I didn't see anyone signed up. Any public comment? Okay, being none, we'll go to the next item is consideration of placing the February 10th, 2026 commission minutes on the March 10th, 2026 commission meeting agenda.
I make a motion, we place those on there without a recommendation.
Second.
Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Next is consideration of placing notary applicants on the March 10th, 2026 County Commission agenda as requested by County Clerk Donna Thomas.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. The next is the Veterans Report. There were 86 veterans that visited the office in January, which that's quite a few, and it was really up from December. And then there were 49 veterans that were transported to the VA hospitals. And Mr. Ely, would you like to update us? Thank you. Any other questions for Mr. Ely or anybody on the commission, on the committee? Okay. Being none, is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? The clinic report was just included for our own information. The medical report, I think they saw 88 patients. The dental report, I believe they saw 76 patients. And as always, they do a great service for our community. And the next item is Ag Board. Commissioner Anderson, you want to bring us up on the Ag Center report?
Under new business we got coming up, we got our friends from the fair here. They're going to talk to us about a grant application they're putting together to do some betterment out there. The only other thing, we talked about this last month, was the 50 feet easement we're going to give for the 50 feet to the extension office. And they're going to pay to move the fence back, and that way that'll help them store equipment, give them a little bit more room, and I think that's good for everybody. But I'll just defer anything else to our friends from the fair who are coming up in a minute.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion? Okay. No old business other than we did get a but we need, I thank the process for the essence of made information that, and y'all, got an update about the community and everything. Y'all, okay? You okay? Yeah.
We met, we discussed, we had a lot of information that we got, handouts from, Josh and from Tanya, and discussed, what it would cost and just some different things. We're gonna have the state come this week, but I don't think the update will be a whole lot until we get all the information. We had, a sheet, and all of that is on, is that on their website? He emailed it, okay. I knew Josh said he was emailing it or putting it up, couldn't remember, my brain's slipped since then, but yeah, so he emailed it to everybody today. Everybody should have all the information that we got to look at, and then, like I said, this next time, the state will be there to talk to us, and we'll go from there. We had a good crowd, though, good interest.
Right. I think, and I spoke with a lady along with Mr. Vick that received that email. So I spoke with the family members, and they were not sure how it worked out. But we told them at that time, back in, what was that, April, May, that would be a state route, so we didn't have anything to do with that. Then I got a call from Senator Reed's office again more recently that stated they needed a letter just stating that was either out of our jurisdiction. That's the way I understand it. I don't think it was a letter approving that we named the bridge. So I think it was just a letter stating it was out of our jurisdiction to name a state route. And that's all I know from there.
Because, Troy, we can't name a state highway, we can't name a bridge if we wanted to, no matter
Right.
what, because it's state highway, correct?
Right.
Commissioner Thompson and I both explained that to them, that it was state
Right.
highway. They called Senator Reeves' office. I wonder if Senator Reeves is just simply having the letter so that we can verify it has to be a state issue. Do you think that might be it?
It
Don't
might
know.
be. We've never encountered this before, as far as I know. And so, the way I understand it is they just need a letter stating that it's out of our jurisdiction. And I guess you can make an, right.
I'm not requesting anything to be named state highway. We never have. But we did one time and we're
Okay.
doing it. So that's already been settled here in the commission. So I don't.
I'll pass that information along.
Well, if you'd like, I'll call Senator Reeves' office.
Okay.
I got to talk to him next week.
His son said we'll be at the state senate session Monday afternoon. They're honoring my dad with the dedication naming the railroad bridge on the bypass after him. So that's Monday afternoon. We're gonna recognize him.
And that's the 20th, correct? Is that the 20th?
Yes, you just mentioned it. It'll be state senate session Monday afternoon. So I guess that's
I agree with you guys. I don't see why we need to say a letter that we don't have jurisdiction. Okay.
I'll give them a call and find out what it is they want. Thanks, Commissioner.
Are we talking about the railroad bridge on the bypass? Okay, well, we got. Yeah, I'm getting confused here a little bit. Okay, okay.
Commissioner Vick's gonna get it.
Okay, the next item on the agenda of new business is the grant discussion for the Cook County Fire Association. They're here, so we'll listen to their address.
Good evening, everybody. My name is J.D. Turner. With me is Ms. Brandy Smith. I'm the 2026 president for the Bedford County Fair. The Tennessee Association of Fairs has been working with the state, and they have been working for the past 2 years, and they were able to obtain a grant through the state for capital improvements for all county fairs. We met with the Ag Board last week, kind of looping them in on what we initially had thought, try to get some feedback from them on some projects, and they have agreed with the ones that we had presented to them, because the ones that we are initially looking at are going to help everybody with the system, and they are safety related. For example, the bleacher seating. One of the things we would like to do would be to replace every board on every bleacher out there. They get replaced as needed, but we would like to just do a carte blanche, replace everything and have them good. There are some electrical plugs that have the weather housings have been damaged over the years. We want to replace the plugs and the housings, things like that. We currently have 8 projects that we have, based on the recommendation of the Ag Board, we have already started the quote process, getting some money, getting some ideas to what these projects would cost. In those discussions, we've already had one of our sponsors has come up, and he wants to take his sponsorship for the fair this year and completely rebuild the announcer stand on the tractor pull track. Wants to come in ground up on the concrete, put new plugs, new lights, raise it up. We can get some signal fans in there for some air circulation, more shelving in there for some being able to have better space for the people writing the tickets and things like that. They've already come to the front doing that. So what we would like, what we would have asked, or we were talking with the Ag Board, is we would like to see if there was a way that we could get some additional grant money from the county so that we can make this money go further. We have to account for every bit of this back to the state before the middle of October, well, to TAF, so they can send it back to the state by November 1st. They are working to hopefully get this to become a reoccurring budget item so that we can make continuous improvements on our property, on the grounds, and just make things better. So just hope we can work together to make vast improvements on the county facility that we use and we appreciate.
I will make this comment about the bleachers. That's a liability, folks. I mean, it has been a liability. We do the best we can to replace them with what we got. But you all are absolutely right. Somebody sometime is going to trip, fall, it's coming. And then you're getting sued. So the bleachers are a problem, been a problem for a while.
That is a very large investment that this particular grant that we have won't cover. We only have $20,000 to spread over multiple projects to try to make a large, as big of an impact as we can. But we would like to be able to do that.
One of the statements that I made is that there's not a lot on the property that is ADA compliant. also would like to try to, especially when we hold special needs days and we do have people that are out there in wheelchairs, it's hard to maneuver them from one place to the other. So it would be nice to see some improvements made to the county grounds that would make it more ADA compliant. I don't know how far we could go with bleachers, but there's a lot of things that could be done on the property itself that could be more accessible for people in wheelchairs, especially like the area between building 2 and building 1 where all the vendors are is all gravel. Handicap parking is all gravel, and that's difficult for some people who. Yeah. My sister works for the commissioners for the state of Tennessee. It did that specific department, but aging and disability is what it is now. So I'm very up to date on a lot of those things, which is why that's kind of sensitive subject for me, because I've heard it from that side too about the maybe I don't want to call it compliance issues, but
Okay, so you got 20 grand. What are you going to do? What's your plan on how you're going to spend that? Or have you got a plan yet? Or
That's actually what I just
These
handed out.
projects.
These are projects.
all
that
8
we're
of these
looking-
projects you can do for 20 grand?
These are the projects that are on our radar that we are working with vendors to get quotes on now. We have a $2,500 minimum threshold for each project. So we have to see where we can do that, and there may be areas that we can get and that we were discussing with the Ag Board where they could possibly go, y'all can put in 25, we could put in whatever, and we could do this project. We have already gotten on their agenda for next month with our quotes to be able to further discuss it.
And as we discussed in our meeting, what's going to happen here is we go through here and find the cost. We may not get 8, we may
Correct.
get 4, but
Right.
it's a start, and it's a good start. Let's just get what we can get and then go from there.
Now, are these projects in order of priority?
No, sir. These are not in order of priority. Once we get our quotes, like Bill said, we will go through and we will sit down collectively with the Ag Board, and we will prioritize them based on biggest impact that we have for the funds available.
This is easy for a lot of fairs because a lot of fairs own their property, and so capital improvements for a fair that owns their property is easy because they can go in and do whatever they want. They don't need to present it to anyone, and that facility or that property is not used for anything else throughout the year except for the fair. But this property is rented out all year long, so any capital improvements that we make as a fair board is not just benefiting us as a fair, it's benefiting a property that the county owns and uses throughout the years for other events such as horse shows and, trade shows or whatever else that they're doing out there.
Yeah. The other caveat with this grant money that we have is any funds that we do not use have to be turned back into the state. So normally, in the past, it's always been, do the project, we'll reimburse you. They've done it differently this year to give you the money so you can go ahead and get it done, and then you have to turn in report before, after photos, what you did and what benefit it is to your facility, so that they can do that, so that they can hopefully take all the information from all the county fairs and make this a reoccurring funding for all.
And why, as I have learned the hard way when we did building 2, getting it this way is going to help you because you know what you got. The other way, when you do it, then they come back and tell you, oh, by the way, it doesn't match, and you're over budget, and you have to come up with $30,000 or $20,000 more to do it. So at least you're getting the money up front.
Right.
That is huge.
Yeah, we feel that's a big advantage in this situation, which allows us to prioritize projects.
Well, what is your major project? You've got these 8. If you had to do one, is there one in particular you would do first?
The first thing that we would probably do would be tackle the bleachers, because we feel those are the biggest single opportunity for something to possibly happen. The next thing would be to go through and do the electrical plugs, like we said, in the livestock. While our sponsor or supplier, vendor, whatever you want to call them, was out there reviewing this, starting to look at these quotes earlier this week, he happened to walk through, and there was one of the plugs that was actually hanging out of the casing. So if somebody were to reach up to plug it in, there's a potential electrocution, shock potential there. So we want to make sure that we're, number one, making the facility safe, and number two, making it user-friendly for everybody.
And third would be the air in building 2.
Yeah, that's a biggie too.
Yeah, I think that's good, because it's really like you're in an oven in there.
You've been out there on Fair Week and you've come into building 2, which we do hold a children's contest in there. We also have animals in there. That's where our birds and rabbits are. It's pretty miserable. You thought it was miserable with the dirt floor. You should be in there with the concrete floor.
Said I wouldn't put my chickens in a contest because I wouldn't let them stay in that building.
Some of them heat stroke.
But there is gonna be some stuff I think we can do with fans
Yes.
that's gonna do this. It's not like we're putting in an AC unit or something.
We're looking
We got
at-
some fans.
I would love that.
If you
but
look
that's
on
not
the,
gonna happen.
if you'll actually look there, the project number 4 is air circulation and lighting. That's part of it. It would be to add the industrial warehouse fans that had the IP65 rating on them for dust and weather. So they'd be very durable, to be able to put 2 on either side to keep the entire building turned over. They're like a super turbo fan. They'll push air like 85 feet. So we feel 2 on either side would,
I think the ones that are in there are backwards. I think
the box fans on the sides, they fight each other. So
Yeah.
we could fix it where we circulate the whole air. And you also could take those box fans that are currently in there, take those down, relocate those to the livestock ring behind and help circulate air there in the livestock ring. So then we'd also like to come up and finish the lighting project with adding additional lighting into the center of the building to help finish out that project as well.
I'd say you're knocking on a $100,000 door with that, all those improvements.
But we're starting here with 20. If it's reoccurring, next year we've got next year. Rome wasn't built in a day. Let's do the 20 we got now. Then next year, let's do 20 more. That's a step in the right direction. We don't have to do all 100 at once.
Well, and at the end of the day, it's not just a benefit to the Bedford County Fair. That building 2 is rented out every weekend, and there's constantly events on that property. To me, it makes the property more rentable, the better that it looks and the more accessible that it is. And I'm not money going in our pocket, so.
Yeah, I mean, just the sheer dynamic change of building 2 from church floor and gym lighting to the concrete with the LEDs has been a big improvement there.
And we just want to go through the proper channels. I mean, that's why we're here. It's not like we want you to do it. It's almost in a sense we're telling you that this is what we're doing. We wanted support, and we just want to go through the proper channels to try to get it done. And if there is any way that we could be helped along in this project, we would love that help. But we're going to do what we can do with what we have.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all having us tonight.
Appreciate y'all getting the grant and putting in the time. That's a lot of work and upkeep. Like you said, the county benefits from that, not just the fair, so. Make a motion, we approve.
One quick announcement, Mr. Chairman, on our broadband, Commissioner Yaki and Commissioner Boutwell and I, they're getting an update on our broadband project. To date, we have had committed to us $4.3 million in round 1 grant, $5.1 million round 2. The county put in $700,000 3 years ago, so we have close to almost $11 million that we've committed to broadband. The first round, we served 970 people. The second round, 2,245 people. We are 85% of the way towards having our community, and we are probably the most advanced rural community with broadband in the state, and we are the show place for them. And in fact, we have something that other counties don't have. Rutherford doesn't have it, Davis doesn't have it, but we have, I think it's an 8 gig service right here. So we're excited about that. The final push will come through. There is a huge line that will come through from Rutherford County down through Normandy, down this way, all as it makes its way to Franklin, not through Normandy. It's coming in that general area there. So there's a couple of pockets that we don't have adequate coverage yet, and it looks like there's about 3,100 people remaining that are eligible to get it that don't have it. And so United feels that they should be able to get those people in this upcoming round, but this will be our last federal round. Commissioner Yaki has something to comment on.
I really think, and we talked about it that day, that we could have a presentation at the county commission to recognize everything that's been done. Just a quick, do you think they would be willing to do that? And
Yes, they said they would like to come by and show us a little up where we are in progress. And Mayor, thank you for all your commitment to helping us make that happen too.
Okay.
But yes, they will come and give a presentation sometime in July, I think, and mention that. But this has really been beneficial for our schools, for our seniors, for our farmers, and for everybody. And everybody in this room is part of the process, and we've all been part of this. It's a big accomplishment for everybody on the commission and everybody in the community. So, Mr. Chairman, I wanted to let everybody know about our broadband.
Middle Tennessee Spay and Neuter Clinic has a fundraiser coming up this Saturday. It's at Amy's Restaurant from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock. So if you guys anybody can drop by and get spaghetti. It's called Spaghetti, no balls. And so come by and campaign, eat some good spaghetti, and tickets are $15 beforehand and $20 at the door.
Move to adjourn.
All right, we're going to call the Public Safety Committee to order, and we have all of our members present, and if you would bow your heads for a word of prayer. Our most gracious, kind Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, and Father, we thank you for the many blessings in life. Father, we just ask that you go with each and every one and lead them and guide them and direct them. Bless our military as they protect the very freedom that we enjoy, Father. Father, we just ask that your hand be upon those that are less fortunate than ourselves. All these things I ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Remember to push the button. The next thing on our agenda will be the approval of the January 20th, 26th Public Safety Committee.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Yeah, we're trying to do that on purpose because all the channels will be active live and it's not finished. That's why
I'm talking about for him, though. If he's on there, I mean, you can push the button or flip the switch.
I'll hold it. All right. We got a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the last meeting. All in favor, say aye. Public comment, I did not see anybody on the list out there, but you're welcome to speak to anything on the agenda. Hearing none, we'll move to reports. The first will be animal control report.
I don't have anything to add to the report unless you have any questions.
Okay, and it is in our packet, so any questions for animal control? Hearing none, thank you. Sheriff, you're next.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I know you've got this one. I'm just going to skip around on it a little bit. But in January, the Bedford County Sheriff's Department patrolled 75,958. I think it'd be safe to say 76,000 because I don't think they count my mileage. So they've been actively patrolling. Total warrants that were served was 761, 228 arrests, 375 passed through the jail. There was 308 investigations, 71 traffic accidents. 14 of those were with injury. 66 motorist assist, 184 traffic stops, 50 911 calls. So it was, for January, it was a pretty active month, and especially, I know for about a week of it, it was bad weather, so that probably played into it as well. On the drug task force, in the month of January, there was 20 reports or investigations, and of those investigations, 34 defendants identified or arrested. Confiscated was United States currency. That doesn't say how much, but you'll be happy to know it was United States currency. 3 firearms were confiscated. Marijuana, crystal meth, powdered cocaine, crack cocaine, fentanyl, I think there was prescription medication, most believed to have fentanyl. Its agency invested 17 previously, not unusual. 2 of the defendants were actually out on bond at the time of their most recent offense. In our courts, our court security, in the month of January, they provided security and had 4,295 people that came into the court complex during the month of January. The deputies maintained security for 32 court sessions. There was 1,699 individual court cases. Deputies served 39 criminal or civil warrants and took into custody 19 people for warrants or court-related charges. Deputies transported 103 inmates from the court holding in the courtrooms. And that's all I have, other than Ronald is here with the jail report, but if you have any questions, I'll...
Do we have any questions for the sheriff? Hearing none, thank you, Sheriff.
Last time we discussed, I don't remember who it was on the committee that discussed the presence of ICE. I've had several calls and some insinuation that they're here, they're on the way. Can you confirm or deny or elaborate a bit so we can squash this?
When you say on the way, I'm not sure what you...
Hold up just a minute before you answer that. Josh, did you get that question? Was you able to hear? The questions come up from the audience about ICE being present and their presence in Shelbyville and Beaufort County, and the sheriff's going to address that.
I think the last time I was here, I gave a report on ICE and our involvement, and at that time, the main two guys that were with ICE that have been talking with us, I think they had been sent to Minnesota. Now, I believe Chief Elliott told me they were back. So I might defer this question. Is that okay? Okay.
Yeah, and I can tell you that they have not contacted us. So if they're here in the county, we're not aware of it. So we've not had any contact with them, and typically I would think that they would at least reach out, but I hadn't heard anything. So I've heard the rumors, but that's it.
Does that answer your question? Yes. Okay. Any further questions? Okay, Ronald.
All right, further than January, we took in for the sheriff's fee, it was $2,760. Let's see, for the comp fee was $128. The phones brought in $16,251.24. Housing for DeKalb County was $30,244. The work crews on the outside saved us $36,960, and on the inside, $93,465. And our total pop today is 358. So it's pretty packed.
Is that all you got?
Yes, sir.
All right. Any questions for Ronald?
No questions.
Hearing none, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next will be the EMA report.
I don't have anything to add. I will say this. So a month ago, we had winter weather, ice, snow here. This week, about a month away, to slight chance of storms and things like that. We're in that period of time when the seasons are changing and severe weather. So this week is also severe weather week with the National Weather Service and across the country. We're putting stuff out on our Facebook and website and so forth about things to do. But I just want to touch real quick on one thing is, after seeing what happened in other places, we've said this, we dodged a bullet. We got some warm air, thanks to Elijah. He pumped it in here somehow. I don't know how he did it, but he did. But a lot of people was not spared. And I think a lot of lessons were learned and a lot of things were realized that you need to be prepared for the unknown. You may think you have everything covered, but always look at what you're doing. That's what I wanted to say to people now. Sometimes my wife says, I think you're overdoing it. Well, just think about those folks that were there 2 weeks but didn't have power or this or that. And, just sit down and think about it as yourselves and talk to people and your family and things like that, because you never know. That's my public safety ad, I guess. So coming up, I'll just say this real quick. In first part of March, coming up real soon, we have a school drill that we're going to be doing at Liberty. So it involves some of our public safety folks, not a lot because of the nature of the drill, but plans for something for them a little bit later in April is coming. Also, in March 17th, TVA will be putting on a drill here at the Tennessee Fire Academy. There is lots of people in here that are going to be involved in or have their agency or department involved, from public safety from both sides, city and our county folks, utilities, state, federal folks. So I'm in the process of putting those emails out now to let people know about that. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be a big thing for us. We really haven't done a flood type scenario thing And, we all know that Normandy Dam we're right that the water that's coming behind it's going to be here first. So I don't know what the exercise is going to be, but anything will be a help for us to look at, see where we're at as far as all our departments. So that's all I've got.
Any questions for EMA? Thank you, Dave. Next, be juvenile detention, and we have a report enclosed. Next, be probation.
I don't have anything further to add to the report, so if you have any questions.
Any questions for? Hearing none, thank you. So at this time, we'll need a motion to approve the reports as presented.
Motion to approve.
We got a motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any old business to come before this committee? Hearing none, we've got one item for new business. Commissioner Adam Thomas will recognize you. It's a resolution to collect community notification system fees for registered sex offenders.
All right, before y'all is, like Mr. Thomas said, is a resolution to increase by $50 the sex offender registration from $150 to $200. I'll give you a quick background about how this happened. A few months ago, I started seeing an influx in news stories across the state of sex offenders reviolating from either the crimes they had already committed all the way up to murder. And none of this happened in Bedford County, but it was across the state. And as I looked at this, I thought, man, how do we stop this from happening in Bedford County? These are horrible atrocities that are going across, and these are people who are being monitored, but they're still reoffending. And I contacted Chief Elliott and asked him, if we could sit down and talk and figure out a way to stop this from potentially happening in Bedford County. And he jumped into this head first. I got there, and he had several detectives and support staff, one of which being Mr. Clanton here, who's with me. And we went over things that they could or could not do in terms of regulating sex offenders. And Mr. Clanton presented this one before us today that allows the county to increase the yearly fee by $50 for monitoring and registration. And he has a lot of the numbers. He's been instrumental in preparing this resolution before y'all.
All right. So we have residing within Bedford County roughly 162, and that's split among TDOC, Sheriff's Office, and City of Schiffman. We see 62 of those offenders personally in our office, and a subset of those offenders are inactive, incapacitated, such that they are in continuous care facilities such as nursing homes or others. So there are 6 of those individuals, and then some individuals currently incarcerated. But once they are released, they will report on the same schedule. Now, this notification system fee comes as a subset to the law for registration, and it has to be enacted by county resolution, and that goes toward the upkeep of this system however it is enacted, which certain ways that you can go about that is publicly posting new entries in a prominent location, such as a lobby of the sheriff's office, public buildings, going so far as Facebook and using technology. A few counties have used their 911 systems to send out blanket text messages to look at the sex offender website. They do not give names, but they give links to the website that show that address, generally using a 1,000-foot radius from the residence that that offender is moved to. Now, there do exist ways that TBI can notify, but they're limited. They're not quite as spot on as what this can do. TBI is very blanket with what they can offer, and you'll get a lot of information, but this can be specific into that there's an offender in this location, and that's going towards helping our community, and it's completely funded by the offenders. So this money does not, we don't pull anything else. This money that goes in there goes toward that. We don't pay anything on this. So that's one benefit of that. It will go into a restricted account, same as the general sex offender money goes into a restricted account. It has to be separate. Lori Schuler and I have discussed this topic at length, and so she said be aware of where this will be going, and I had her explain some topics to me as well, just in regards. City of Spring Hill had that information because they've enacted this as a city, as a municipality, and had a good bit of information online in regards to that. Are there any questions from any of you?
What about posting around what about parks? I know they're not permitted to be inside the parks. Is there signage that should be around in that area?
We could put it on a billboard, not a billboard, but a bulletin board, such as when you walk into the rec center, that bulletin board that's to the left. I had to think about what side it's on, but also a very prominent idea that was given to me by Chief Elliott was using the Board of Education and disseminating this information through our school administrators to help cover one of the most vulnerable sets of the community, our children. So,
Because a long time ago, through the Parks and Rec, we had this issue come up, what to do with it. So that's good.
One question I have, how compliant are these sex offenders on paying the $150 right now? And does any of that $150 go toward this publication?
So as of right now, all of our sex offenders, except for 3 that have been listed as indigent per the court, pay their $150, or they are in violation and they go to jail. So if they cannot pay, that constitutes a violation. Or if they do not pay, if they cannot pay and they can prove not to have any reasonable means by which to pay, TBI kind of gives a very blanket example. Generally, they gave us the 3 C's of cell phone, cigarettes, or car. If an individual can afford any one of these things, then they can afford this fee. This fee has not been raised since 2008 at the state level, so it has been that way since 2008. And this is the only provision within our power as a community to enact to increase that.
And is any of that $150 that's collected now, is that any of that money being used to publicize this information right now?
No, sir. That goes up. 100 is remitted to the Sex Offender Registry Fund for the county. 50 goes to the state for administrative fees.
So where does the current money, it goes into this fund, what's done with that fund?
It is used generally to fund the purchase of items, often files, and to help with larger purchases of time and to defray the cost of personnel for any time that's spent doing home visits, because it costs to send a deputy out or a detective. In our case, we generally send Sergeant Chris Brown and Detective Savannah Martin to do these home visits, which are very important but take time. So that's one use of that. The rules on that are pretty stringent as far as it has to relate to the sex offender registry. So it does take explaining when we go to for finance, say we need to have this money moved into our fund to cover the cost of this item. One big thing, it covered a lot of the files for the sex offender registry, a lot of the things that we use on a daily basis, iPads, those items.
So Adam had come to see me in advance about his concern with that. We had our legal counsel looking at that as well to make sure that we weren't necessarily triggering some other effect that we may not would have seen. The TCA code and stuff that they're working under now, I mean, was pretty straightforward. Legal did, I believe he actually even talked to you,
Yes.
but reached out to the sheriff's office to make sure that we weren't passing on some additional burden that maybe wasn't within their ability to do without it having a significant impact. I think the sheriff's office, of course, they're here, relayed that they thought it was something that they could benefit from and would see it as a positive, not a negative on their operation. I know Adam supports it. We all would obviously want to support that. But legal did not give any particular concern unless something comes to light that we don't currently have. So from our side of the county legal system, John T. did not see an issue if the body wishes to move forward with increasing it. The one thing and I don't remember if Adam and I spoke about it, but when you referred to potentially 911 sending out a blast related to that, have you talked to them about that? And historically, there's pretty rigid requirements about sending stuff out over the cell phone from 911. And I know some of the, Mark's on this, and I don't know who else would be in here, but I think we need to make sure we understood what we were getting ourselves into there, because I'm not sure that that's if you had an acute situation going on, certainly would be different than broadcast as far as shooting to their cell phones. But I defer to the ones that manage this more closely than I do in regards to that.
Right. That was a concern as well about what level of alert that would bring. I spoke with Philip Noel just to get an idea of what systems we have in place as of now, and he kind of explained Code Red to me as what we use, and that does sound like a more emergent situation. So I'm looking and trying to figure out what DeKalb County had. They're going through the same process we're going through right now. I think they're further along in steps on that, but they were using a program through their 911. I believe Spring Hill is using a public website related to their county's map. It's a layered map on their website that shows school zones and property zones. It's got a large amount of information relevant to each subset of government, and they have added to that layer, they're adding in their sex offender entries into that as well. So that's just one way that they're accomplishing their end, meeting the goals in that law.
And then how often do these folks pay this money? Is it yearly, monthly?
Annual.
Annual.
Quarterly offenders pay in the month of March, and then annual offenders pay when they report within 7 days before or after their birthday.
And is that your responsibility at the sheriff's office? Are you monitoring that for them, or
Yes.
being their lead point on that? I know you have to have
Yes,
other people support.
I meet with our sex offenders, and Detective Savannah Martin heads up the enforcement side. When we have a non-compliant offender, that I then go to Detective Martin, and we go from there.
Right,
with
and
pursuit.
adding this $50, which I think would be the max, I think the state caps, you would be expecting that you will be enhancing even greater the ability for the public to know, to have situational awareness. It's not just we're raising the fee on them because we can. We're expecting to provide additional service or opportunities for people to know what's going on in their community through this program. Do you agree with that?
I agree with
Okay.
Well, I'm totally in agreement with this, but as far as the restricted funds, I would like to see what those restrictions are before our, I think we'll put it on the county's agenda, but before we vote on it, I'd like to see what are those restrictions on how this money, this extra fee can be used for?
Right.
And then how does that affect 911, or if we do a GIS layer on a map, who, I guess that would be John Carney that's doing our GIS. So how does this affect them and the fees that I guess that they would collect for doing this? And as far as 911, I mean, Philip's going to know this, and I think we got a meeting tomorrow. If you could attend that, you know, I'd appreciate it and might educate us a little bit more. But it would certainly be my thought that we move this on to the next month's agenda for the county commission.
And I do believe I already have advisement from our auditor on the uses of the sex offender account that we have now on those restrictions, because they are similar restrictions, just in this subset in this notification system. That one is geared towards the notification system versus where the other is the sex offender registry as a whole.
And one other thing, if somebody's already ahead of us in getting that publication out, if you could get us a little information on that, it may not have to rewrite the book, you know.
Yes. I think I have some in a file already, a completed resolution in a file that was Spring Hill's completed resolution. So.
And I understand, you know, as technology moves and changes, that may change too. I don't want us to be just locked down to one method of notification. I want to have a little freedom there to take the best opportunity for notification to protect our children out there.
Correct. And it did seem like a good first step would be going through the Board of Education to get that information out. It complies with the law and gives us time to gather more data and pick a direction in which to go with this.
All right, what would be the pleasure of the committee?
I'll make a motion that we send it to the commission for debate, discussion, and a vote.
We got a motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Is there any further business that needs to come before us? Announcements? Motion to adjourn.
Okay, let's call the Courthouse and Property Committee meeting to order. And Keith, would you say our prayer, please?
country, Father. We need unity and together, and just not of other people this time of year. Be with us, be with our children as they're confused in the things that are going on in this world with us, Father. Bless them, lead them, and guide them in your hand. Forgive us, Father, of all our sins, and lead us now.
Okay, roll call. Everyone is here but Chairman Hooker. And I need a move to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve. Second.
All in favor? Okay, next up are our minutes. I need approval for the January 20th, 2026 Courthouse Property Committee meeting minutes. Okay, do we have any public comment period? Anybody out here? Don't see it. And up next are reports. We have our codes report. It's enclosed. This is going to go quick. I don't see anybody here reporting with us tonight. Planning and zoning report is enclosed. Anyone to speak? Okay, we have IT.
Just a reminder to push your buttons when you're wanting to talk. The report I sent to you by email. It's attached to your email. Basically, we have a few cybersecurity audits that we're undergoing right now. One's an independent audit. These are annual audits that we have to go through. They look at everything from internal processes and controls all the way to our public domain space. And we're just going through those audits, and we're in the process right now of completing those items, and we'll be sending those finals back in to those people. We also have a few projects ongoing. Juvenile Detention Center. If you drive by that facility, it's out there by the Justice Center. They've got the walls up, and those are coming along pretty quickly. So is the E911 Center. We have structured cabling and security and electronics vendors that we're working with right now to make sure that when they complete those installations, they'll have the right data infrastructure in place and access controls where people come in with the proper credentials, be able to use proximity card readers and camera systems that can detect movement and different types of things out there to secure the premises, the physical premises of that. So we've always got something going on with the live stream, and we're, as you noticed, we're trying to address and change things all the time and improve that for you guys as well. And we also have out at the Juvenile Detention Center the surplus building as well, which is also going to have some of our things in there. So we got several projects going on. We're continuously trying to make changes and modifications to older facilities to bring those up to newer technologies, and just provide a better, more secure physical workspace for the employees and the public too when they come into those. I don't have anything else to add tonight, but I'm happy to take any questions as always.
To push your button, can we have the other mics back?
No. Thanks.
Okay, that was short and sweet. We do thank you, Josh, for all that you do. One thing I noticed at the wastewater committee, there was a presentation on the screen, and you were able to get that out to the public this time. Normally, they're not able to see that, so that was a nice addition, so thank you. Next up is fire department. That'd be Mark.
Madam Chairman, you have my report. Unless you have questions, I have nothing to add to it, and I wasn't here for your last meeting, so if you have any previous questions, I'll be more than happy to address those as well.
Are there any questions? Appears not. Thank you, Mark.
One other thing before you dismiss me, we did receive a State Fire Marshal's grant this year for $36,036, so that'll be coming down. And it's not just our department that works on this. There's a lot of county agencies that put in the information to get those grants, and we were also able to secure one for, I think, War Trace and Bell Buckle as well. We wrote those. So.
I drive by the 911 center like 2 or 3 times a day. Are they pretty much open all the time if we want to go in there and view?
It's kind of limited to.
I've seen a lock on the door once in a while.
Yeah, they try not to let everybody in there, but that would be something you would probably want to schedule with Philip and do that, but because of my title and the inspections, I get to go in there, but I have to wear a hard hat, safety vest, and you have to meet with the I guess it's project manager that before you go in there. But it's, I don't know if you saw it or not, but I posted a video, and I'm by no means a video person, you know, but a kind of a walkthrough of where they're at. They are moving forward. I think they got the floor down in the comm center part. So, if you, and not to get real technical, but the wires run underneath the floor, so there's about a 2-foot drop there, and then they leveled that floor so all the cables are underneath the ground. You know, so they're moving real quick, and as late as today, I think probably end of April, we'll be ready to take the next step in getting all the cables and the radios and AT&T and everybody that's involved in that project out there to start doing the wiring on as far as radios and the 911 stuff that has to come into that building. So a definite move-in date. His wife might know more about that than I do. I don't know. But I do not know that as far as a cutover date yet. But they are moving forward. But definitely get with Philip or holler at me, and I'll get you a hard hat, and we'll take a step out there. Any of you, you know, you're more than welcome.
Thank you, Mark. Next is our E911 report. I don't think there's anyone here to speak to that. Media GIS. John is under the weather, but we always appreciate what he does. And next up is County Building Projects Update. The report's enclosed, but I don't see anyone here to speak to anything on that report. So with that being said, I need a motion to approve report.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We do not have any other reports. It appears no old business, no new business, unless someone has something they need to bring forward. Are there any announcements? Motion to adjourn.
So moved.